Tuesdays, 9 p.m. on TV 33. Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs. Remember, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Join me, Barry Ross, Mixing It Up on TV 33. Good evening. My name is Barry Ross, and welcome to another segment of Mixing It Up. We're broadcast to you live on TV 33, on Comcast 20, and also live online at TV33live.com. We also encourage you to join us on Facebook now. If you go to the new TV 33 WHPR on Facebook and hit the word click, and then hit a welcome, you can watch these shows live on Facebook and still communicate back and forth with your own friends. So we are now live on Facebook for you. I also encourage you to please call us. We welcome your phone calls. We are at 313-868-0351, 313-868-0342, and 313-868-4336. The numbers are running across your screen, and I just would want to let you know that we invite you to call. We appreciate your opinions and your questions. And tonight, I have a couple very important special guests. I have Queen Mother of Education in Detroit, Helen Moore. I am humbled by her presence. Me being relatively new in the last year and a half to get someone of this magnitude, I'm extremely proud to have her here tonight. And she's going to let us know what's going on with education, lack of, what have you, the rights that are being infringed upon by our youth in Detroit. She's been fighting for education for over 40 years for the kids in the city of Detroit. Thank God we have her. And we also have Professor of African Studies at Wayne State, Kefenzi Chilke. I might be pronouncing his last name, but see? Kefense Shike? Okay, thank you for that. And that's only because I only heard his name once. So we're going to talk about how the effects of the African-American culture are not being taught to the children and how it's possibly affecting them in the way of what's going on in our society and all over the world and in Detroit, of course. And we also have a new segment. We have Tawana Honeycomb Petty, and she is a poet, nationally renowned. And so she has a corner now on this show at 10 o'clock, and her guests tonight are going to be Michael McDonald. He's an actor, a model, and he's also speaks the spoken word. And so that'll be going on a little later. And I just want to expound upon this again, that we have an organization that we set up, a foundation for the little bitty baby girl about 2.5 years old that died about 2.5, 3 months ago in the fire in the city of Detroit when a fire engine was dispensed to her home and all kinds of problems occurred. We don't want to attack the fire department. This foundation is for this baby girl's name to live on so that her death is without probable cause. We have to come together for this. A baby died unnecessarily. That's right. Smoke inhalation. They couldn't get up to the second window of and like I said, I don't want to get into the details, but we want this family to know that we are here for them and we are here for little Ivory Ivy. And here's what we did. Minister Shabazz, Robert Robinson, and I, if I may mention their names, we started a nonprofit fund. We're not gaining from this fund. That's right. This fund is for the sole purpose of any child that's just born up to the age of 18, if their family does not have funds to bury their baby, their child, we want to make sure that they have funds. Now, this family didn't have the money to bury their own child. That's a tragedy to me. So it's called the Ivory Ivy Emergency Children's Fund. You can go to any Comerica bank, put $5 in, anything you want. We encourage you to get involved. My God, this is a baby died. No one's coming out for this. We have to show support for one another. Other children are dying. They're dying from murders. They're dying in various ways. Right. But this is for this baby's name to live on and make a difference. We don't want this child to die for no reason. I could almost cry when I talk about this. And again, I want on Minister Shabazz's show, Pastor Ovella was here with Teferi. This weekend on Sunday at 3 o'clock, check this out. She has put together a motorcade caravan that's going to start at Woodward and Adams, right at Grand Circus Park. She already has 15 funeral homes that are donating hearse. And Swanson is donating a 1945 antique hearse to be up front. We're encouraging all of you to show up and be part of this motorcade. This is a community event. You show up at 3, and you can be part of this caravan. It's going to travel down Woodward. I don't know the exact route, down Claremont, and the destination is Fellowship Chapel on Outer Drive between Southfield and Greenfield. And then at 4:30, there's a rally and event where all kinds of community organizations are going to take part. Also, tomorrow at 3 o'clock at Fellowship Chapel, she's having a press conference for this, and you're all invited to come to Fellowship Chapel and be a part of the promotion of this. And my God, this is the Thou Shall Not Kill campaign. Pastor Ovella is president and founder of United Communities of America. And every month on the 22nd, she has a different event, a different venue, a different place to bring us all together to make a stand against this terrible tragedy that we're confronting. Killing, murdering, the loss of regard for human life in the city of Detroit. Not to say it's not going on everywhere, but we live in Detroit. My business is in Detroit. I care about Detroit, and we all do. So we encourage you to come out. Again, Sunday at 3 p.m., Woodward and Adams. Without any further delay, I want to bring out my first guest, Queen Mother Helen Moore. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Ross.
I am beyond proud to have you. How did you start in the, going back, we talked a little bit, if we may. You went to Columbia.
Yes,
went to Columbia University.
No, I went to Columbia Elementary School.
Oh, Columbia Elementary.
Yes, it was predominantly black school in my neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
And it was an outstanding school. It was right off of Warren and McKinley. And so even the teachers there were all concerned about us, and they were just like our parents. And a lot of great people came out of that school. Even when I graduated from law school, some of those teachers came to my graduation.
Wait a minute. Does everybody know that this lady has a law degree?
I think they do. I don't talk about it all the time because it's just something that you do and something that I wanted to know about the law, because every time we would get a lawyer to handle our educational problems, they would buy them out and pay the money for them, and we would be there without any lawyer. So I wanted to know what they knew, and that's why I went to law school.
You are something. So did you go back to school and get a law degree after you got a degree in education?
Yes. My degree was in counseling and psychiatry.
I am impressed. I am impressed. In
and
what?
Psychiatry.
Psychiatry. My God, you have it all. Okay, so now you become a lawyer.
Yeah.
And you're in the education system.
Right.
And in what capacity were you first involved with the education system?
My children. We moved, my husband moved to a new neighborhood way back in the 60s. And the neighborhood was predominantly white. And we did our research and found out that they had one of the best schools in the state of Michigan. The children were learning all kinds of languages, etc., and everybody was really on it. So we moved into that neighborhood. But as soon as we moved into the neighborhood, a few blacks, they began to go down in education. And we said, no,
Quality of education.
that's right. We said, no, we want the same thing for our children, but no one listened. So finally, I organized the community.
This is how it started.
And this is how it started. We became the Black Parents for Quality Education, organized the community, got all the churches involved, got the children involved, passed out 5,000 flyers. Then it became a real movement. And what happened was we ended up going to jail because we fought for our children.
Tell us about that.
Well, we decided that we didn't want the principal because he wasn't working with us and he wasn't doing anything for our children. So we decided that we would throw the principal out and get us our own principal. They kept talking about community control of schools, so we said this is how you get community control of schools. So we organized the entire city. People came from everywhere, black, white, Latinos, etc. And we said, what would we call ourselves? And they said, Black Parents for Quality Education. I said, well, some of you are white, some of you are Latinos. They said, blackness is a state of mind. We need to show the people that black parents care about their children. So what happened was we took over the school when they didn't listen to us.
Literally.
We boycotted the school. We boycotted and we blocked everybody out of our school that we didn't want in. We boycotted, we threw the principal out, and we said we're going to get the principal we want. And at the end, we did do that, but it took 2 weeks, and they finally came to get me, put me in jail. And when they got there, they kept saying, who's the instigator? Who's the person that's doing this? And so some of the people that were with me, they wouldn't speak out. And then finally, a couple of people said, she's it. So they picked me up to carry me out of the building and put me in the car. And I got away from them, and I said, everybody with children in this school, bring your children. We're going to jail today, and we're taking our children with us. The police dropped me so fast, I almost hit the ground. And he called the chief of police, and he said, this woman is crazy. If we take these parents down to jail with all these children, we're going to have a real mess in the city. I could hear him talking. And so he decided, they told him, give her a ticket. Give her a ticket. So we went to court. By the time we got to court, Coleman Young was there, Kenny Cockrell was there, all the unions was there, everybody was there, all over the world. The people were pulling for us. Del Rio, just everybody came. And then when we stood before the judge, he said, all of us standing there, the parents that got arrested, got the tickets, he said, who instigated this? Well, Dr. Jefferson was the superintendent at that time, and Mr. Drinkwater was the one that was over our area over at McKenzie. And so we thought he was talking about us. Mm-hmm. He wasn't. He was talking about them. He said, all these parents want is an education for their children. So we had the whole city. We had all the ministers. We had everybody on our side. After that, we were able to select our own principal, and all the schools in the city could select their own principal.
Oh, my God.
Because of what we did.
Now, obviously, these were different times.
Yes.
These were two-parent homes, presumably.
Well,
more so than today, to say
well,
the least.
maybe more so than today, but these were determined parents. They wanted their children to have the best education. And out of that came a lot of changes. We changed the hiring policies of the school system. There were not many blacks in administration. We challenged and we did our research. We went to meetings. We closed down a lot of places that we thought were not justified and were not. In fact, we got rid of a lot of principals and a lot of teachers. We did, because we thought they were not doing the right thing for our children. And so we made a lot of enemies, but we made a lot of friends, and we stood up for the children, what we thought was right.
The name of this organization was initially...
Black Parents for Quality Education.
Does this organization still exist today?
Yes, and I'm still the leader.
What kind of participation is there in the group?
We folded it in to Keep the Vote No Takeover Coalition. Remember, Keep the Vote No Takeover Coalition is a coalition, 27 different groups, was a coalition. And so all of us are now Keep the Vote no takeover. Malik Shabazz is one of the original members,
Sure.
and a whole lot of other folks are really original members.
Now, me being relatively green and seeing the lack of interest even in neighborhoods when there's a violent act, a crime, a murder, what have you, even if it happens to the neighbor next door to you, nobody sees anything, nobody hears anything. So my favorite word is, my lack of this, is apathy. And even in education, with this today, with the schools closing, what's going on with parents taking an active role today like they used to? It's got to be devastating to you.
Well, there was a time, there was a building called the Stevenson Building, and there is now a church in that building. It held 4,000 people. The minute we would call the people together, they would fill that entire center over there off of Grand River. But see, things are not like they used to be. And what you have in this city is, I wouldn't say just apathy, I would just say hard knocks and hard times. You have to be a part of, I was a social worker before I went to law school. I worked for the state of Michigan, and I did all the guardianship adoption cases, and I sometimes sit in on cases of foster care children, trying to see if they can get back with their parents or be moved out of foster care and all that. But anyway, I learned a lot, where I thought I knew everything just because I had a husband and we had 4 children. And almost all the black parents and white parents had a husband and wife and all that. But in these days and ages, I see a lot of our people, the times are so hard for them, especially now, that they can't concentrate on helping their families and their children.
Hard to if they don't have electricity in the house or food.
Right. And I see that all the time because I'm next to that in my church, with which I've served working with children for 55 years. I'm very close to these children, and many times I have to help the kids get bus money to go to school, do all kinds of things when their parents may be arrested or those kind of things. In fact, one of the Black Parents for Quality Education, our secretary, is just getting out of prison this month. I stay in contact with her.
What could you, if you were to, so to speak, pass this legacy of this magnificent legacy of all the work that you've done and achieved, what could you give me or to anybody that's interested? What can we do with the schools closing? We're on the advent of potentially emergency manager in a city. Hopefully we don't get them. No money here, jobs, all these terrible issues we're facing. What can we do?
We're doing it now. You and I are talking, and people are listening out there. But the thing that we really can do is to get to the people, the children. Today we saw a demonstration of that. The young people came forth to make sure that one of the libraries was opened back up. We got to keep these young people together. Now, many people don't know that I'm on the board for the National Voting Rights Museum, and every year we meet together and we walk across the Edmund Pettus Bridge like Martin Luther King did when they marched to Montgomery, got beat down and all that.
Where's this bridge?
It's right down in Selma, Alabama.
Okay.
So many of us in the city, Malik's been there, and a lot of us, we go down there to remember.
You were there today?
No, I wasn't there today, but I've been talking on the telephone
to
the group down there. No, we go in March. We go for 4 days. But the sad part about it, that museum has lost money and support, and I'm going to try to do something up here in Detroit to help raise funds for that. But what I'm saying is this: there are people, you have to understand that maybe you can't get everybody out there. Finally got to the Keep the Vote Coalition, the people who come, the people who work. That's what we got. We try to build on that. But in many cases, let me tell you the problems. Can't get to the meetings. Can't get to the meeting. Women out there late at night. Because the meetings start at 6. We understand that, so we try to get to them. We try to email them, tell them what happened, or we try to involve them in that way. We just had a Kwanzaa celebration. Malik was there too.
Right.
And it was our annual fish fry. People came, folks. We did what we needed to do, and we just keep communicating with our community, our children, and everything, and doing everything we can. Everybody needs to adopt some children. I don't mean going to court. I mean to know who these children are, what their needs are, just like you announced about the foundation. This is what we have to do.
Sure.
This is what it's all about.
Take accountability, responsibility.
And wait a minute, you can't punch up the people that are apathetic because you don't know the shoes they're walking in.
Absolutely.
And so that's when I learned that, because some of us, because we got a house and we got some heat and all that kind of stuff going for us, we think that's it, we've arrived. We have not, until every person has gotten the things that God wants them to have. None of us have arrived, and that's the point that we need to make to everybody who's listening.
Yes, and to be self-righteous, I've seen some.
Right.
You know, just because I did this or I have this, that doesn't mean that, you know, I'd expect you to have it or I'm better than you.
That's
or
right.
Have you. I just want to talk, if we can, on a different level of education.
Okay.
I personally, I'm a big proponent of, in my life, I had low self-esteem. And I think one of the biggest issues we face if a mother, and you know this exists, if a mother is of ill repute, or if a mother or father can't supply food for their children, or the children are abused, it's sort of hard, if I'm their child, to want to do good in school. You know, why don't some of the teachers say, when the kids come to class, first, is there anybody here that hasn't eaten? Is there anybody here that doesn't have love in the home? And hug them. I mean, you can't make a child learn if the child doesn't even want to be there. That's how I was. Listen, I went to 4 high schools. They couldn't beat education into me. Okay. I never wanted to learn until later on in life, when I realized the value of education. You can't burn it into a child.
Okay, let's take the opposite view.
Go ahead.
A child distraught in a circumstance that they don't have any control over,
right?
Drugs, etc. But in my ventures through doing all the things I've seen some of those children in that same condition excel.
Sure.
And I keep wondering, and I did a little research last year because I spoke at the board where we were knocking the parents down and saying you shouldn't do this and you should do that for your child. But then I found a group of children in my church too that were excelling. I got a grandson that's at Yale and got all A's this year.
That's great.
At Yale. And I've seen children in the worst circumstances rise above it. Still we rise. And I know why. Because one of those teachers, of those administrators, a person like you or a person like me, reached out to them, and maybe it's just a few words they need.
Sure.
That you can do it.
But you know what? It seems to me that more teachers today, because of the bureaucracy and what they're fighting, and most classes don't even have adequate books. I've heard of cases where they share books. So what these teachers are up against, the bureaucracy and what they're fighting, the system, parents don't want to get involved. They're just punching in a clock now. The average teacher, the love and the passion seems to be greatly, and I know you'd agree, greatly diminished today, because they're just coming into work and doing a job and figuring, what difference can I make anymore? It's a few. It's diminishing. The ones that have the passion. So that leaves more children out.
And that's where we step in. You can't just keep talking about it. I've gone into classes where the teacher wasn't doing what she or he was supposed to do. I hate to tell you all this on the air, but I closed down a classroom and chased the teacher out because the teacher was so racist. Now, this is a real true story. Don't mess with the children when I'm around. This teacher was teaching the children wrong in math and calling them animals, and he stabbed my son's heel, just angry. Well, guess what happened? He put my son out of the room. Now, I don't take up for my children when they're wrong, but I come to school that day and my son's standing outside the room, and I said, Al, by the way, is an engineer, and he's at Oak Ridge Nuclear Plant, and he's head of one department down there in Tennessee. I said, Al, why are you standing outside the door? Mr. I better not call his name. I don't know if he's still alive or not. I didn't kill him. But what happened was he told me that this teacher did send him out of the room and wouldn't let him go to any classes, gym, or anything like that. I said, what? So I go in the room and I said, what did you do to my son? And he was too scared to answer me. So I locked the door and I chased him all. I jumped over the desk, and I'm a real crazy person.
You're a good crazy.
I guess it's the Indian in me or the black folks or whatever. I chased him all the room, and finally he left the school. He started packing up his stuff and getting out of there. But see, these are the things that if they know you care about the children, those teachers that are not doing right, when I show up at their school, you'd be surprised what happens. I can always tell a school that's not doing well, because as soon as I come in, they'll either call the police or act real distance from me, or, you know, act crazy. But the ones that are doing well, when I walk in the school, they, oh, Miss Moore's here, like Malcolm X, some of those schools. So it's a different.
You carry the. Now, are you gainfully employed by the Board of Education today?
No, I've never been.
Okay,
never been.
You volunteer.
That's right.
To do this labor of love, to make a difference.
Did all that, went to law school, sent my children to college, did all that, and I don't even know how I did it. I'm going to tell you the truth. One day I sat down and got so tired because I thought about the things I had done. But if you don't think about it and you just go out there and do it.
Were your parents educated?
My grandfather built the first black school in Newport, Tennessee.
Wow.
For the black folks. So it's in our family. They were teachers and all that kind of stuff. But my mother only had an 8th grade education. But she was brilliant.
Hold on a second. We'll keep that. We have a couple calls. Good evening. You're on the air with Helen Moore.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Hi. Helen Moore, I really appreciate what you've done throughout the years. Always a supporter of Detroit Public Schools. I'm a product of the Detroit Public Schools. Also, like what you said a few minutes ago about students, just because the home base is not right, where you got the parent ain't there, I've also seen kids excel and do real good. So when I hear people make a statement about something because of their parents, that's not always true. I retired from Detroit Public Schools, so I know what you're saying is absolutely right. I've seen a lot of kids graduate, and maybe their home environment wasn't right, but they have excelled in going to school. So you're
That's
doing
true.
a beautiful job. You were over at McKenzie when Miss Hood was the principal?
Yes, I was.
Okay, she used to be my counselor at Jefferson Junior High School. Okay, I'm going to hang up and listen to some more.
Thank you very much for your call. Good evening. You're on the air with Helen Moore.
Hey, good evening. How are you?
Good
How are
evening.
you?
How you doing, Ms. Moore?
Fine. How you doing?
You should know what's really going on with Sharon McPhail and her husband.
With her, Sarah McPhail and her what?
Husband.
Well, oh, I'm not going to even get into
that's
that.
not a fair question.
Sharon is my friend,
Yeah.
and we're all trying to keep things together. And we're, just like Malik said a few minutes ago, we're uniting, and we're not going to have any of those kind of things going on, because we need all of us working together.
Thank you for your question. I just want to say, when she opened up the board meeting last week for the installation, and I know you were there, I loved what she said. We might not all get along, we might not all like one another, but damn it, we're going to work together now.
Right.
So we got to put our differences aside and be grown-ups and work together. And just like everybody else in the city, we need to put together our differences, put them on the side. We got a couple minutes left. I could interview you for 3 hours, and I have learned a wealth of information. I am so proud to have you here tonight.
We didn't talk enough about what's going on now. Emergency manager,
Well,
the failing schools, they don't want me to say failing. But Covington coming in when his school system was failing. I just want to make a remark right
Sure.
now.
Go right
Where
ahead.
is coming from? When these people come in, sometimes they say, well, I've been knowing Mr. Roberts for years, long before a lot of people knew. He's a pretty good guy and all that. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter when any time we as a people step into these positions, knowing that Our right to vote has been taken away from us. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to say it over and over, and I've said it to them, you are a traitor. If everybody in these situations would not drink the Kool-Aid, then we would not have the situation we're in today. Suppose Mr. Bob said, I don't want it. The next person again, I'm not taking it. It's wrong. So, and all the ones that came after him and before him, if they just said, I'm true to the cause, I'm not going to do it, we may not have had a takeover. Now, that's my position.
Thank you very much. Anything else? You got another minute or so in closing?
Well, the other thing.
I want to have you back.
Okay, the other thing is, for as far as our people is concerned, we need to start coming back to some of those meetings that Keep the Vote has, and I'm going to announce them right now, because a lot of you are calling me late at night. I'm trying to tell you what's happening, and I know your circumstances. We're going to have to do a little better. Our meetings are the first Tuesday of every month. Dexter Elmhurst Center, right on the corner of Dexter and Elmhurst. And we only meet for an hour and a half. And we give you the information that you will never be able to get from the board or from anybody else down there, especially what's happening with our money, with our bond money, how much they have tricked us into millages, and our money is being spent with these companies from out of state or these companies that are not hiring our people. The agreement was 65% Detroiters. We got some companies got all their millions of dollars that only have 35% Detroiters. These are the things you need to know. And if you don't come to meet me, maybe some of you are mad at me or whatever, get over it. You need to know what's going on in the public schools, because if you don't come to meeting, and I do, and some of the Keep the Vote people do, we know, and it's our responsibility to tell you, but we can't go running all over the place trying to find you. We have email, and all you have to do,
Give it to 'em.
okay, we have an email. My email is Helen, small case, HELEN, dash, not underscore, dash, more, MOORE, at ATT.net. This communication system goes all over the place. We send it to Malik. We send it to Badger. We send it to all the groups. It's a really viable communication system, and we did this because the media is so racist and so biased that we wanted to put all our stuff out the way it is, not the way they've been putting
not
out.
sugarcoating
They
it.
have lied to you about everything that's going on with the emergency manager and all. And if you had listened back then when we were fighting the battle, we wouldn't have the mess going on with the city now.
What is the address of the meeting on Tuesday, and what time is it on Dexter and Elmhurst?
Dexter Elmhurst. It's 11825 Dexter, but it's right on the corner. It's the center over
What
there.
time?
And we meet at 6 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming. We had more calls. I couldn't even take them. I'll have to have you back. And sit here for 1 minute. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with our next guest.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure.
Hi, Mom. Where'd you get all this Narcotics Anonymous stuff from?
Mrs. Owens had Narcotics Anonymous come and talk to our class about meetings that can help people stop using drugs.
Narcotics Anonymous.
Yes, please. Can you help me?
Call Narcotics Anonymous. We can help you.
We are the faces of Detroit.
We are the faces
The Delray.
We are the faces of Delray. Governor Snyder wants to put us out of our homes by building a bridge in our front yard.
Homes where we raised our families.
A community where we buried our loved one.
Delray is struggling, but it's not lifeless. It's a community of hopes and dreams.
Governor Snyder.
Invest.
Not destroy.
1,000 men's suits. And right now at Sermons, you can buy one and get two free. Not one suit, but two free. Buy one suit, bring two friends. Buy one suit, bring two relatives. Buy one suit, get two free. Bring your past. Your teacher. Buy one suit and get two free. Sermons with 90 years of experience carrying jeans, exotic skin shoes, sets, shirts, leathers, sweaters, everything for the well-dressed man. Buy one suit, get two free. Sermons on Randolph in downtown Detroit.
The Brinker Group has been serving clients throughout Metro Detroit since 1989. Our group is comprised of 5 commercial contracting firms that specialize in construction management, general contracting, architectural interiors, flooring, glass and aluminum applications, and electrical installation. For exceptional service at competitive rates, choose the Brinker Group. We build with quality, confidence, and pride.
Hey, come on. Man, what is taking so long? Let's play.
Just getting a number.
Whose number?
Narcotics Anonymous.
Hey, if you need to talk.
No way, it's not for me, it's for my brother. He's constantly wasted. Come on, hoop time. Can you tell me about NA?
Call Narcotics Anonymous. We can help you.
You're watching Power Talk on your community TV station, UHF TV 33, Detroit, Highland Park.
Welcome back, everybody, to Mixing It Up. My name is Barry Ross. I'm your host, if you haven't recognized that by now. And we encourage you to take part in this show. We encourage you to call us, 313-868-0342. 0351-4336. The numbers roll across the screen, but we want you to know that you are invited to take part. Unfortunately, I can't always get to all the calls, and sometimes, like my next guest, I have the nature is so important that we get flooded with calls and we can't take them all. So I want to introduce you to no stranger to Detroit, Wayne County, is Kefense Chike. And thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for inviting me to be here.
I neglected to say that you are a professor of African Studies. Would that be correct?
African American Studies.
African American Studies at Wayne State?
Yes.
At Wayne State. And I am humbled and proud to have someone of your stature to come to this show. For someone being relatively new in this game and movement and what have you, I wanted the community at large to really find out what some of the basic real deal is on our youth and our lost youth, so to speak, we could say. That how important do you believe that the culture, the African culture, going back thousands and thousands of years, it's not being taught in our conventional school system, is it?
Well, there's been efforts. The African-centered education movement, which became prominent, it grew actually, and this is a perfect segue because Mama Helen Moore has an extensive history into the period of what I call the antecedent period before the African-centered education movement, which began in Detroit in 1972, and it grew out of the community control of schools movement. But during the antecedent period, it really as far back as 1931 and 32, you had efforts by the Nation of Islam, who established the Universities of Islam in Detroit and Chicago, to teach aspects of African culture. So
separate, though, from conventional educational systems.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
So during the antecedent period, which I identify as to be the early 60s, leading up to the establishment of Detroit's first African-centered school, there were many efforts by people like Helen Moore, Imari Obadeli, Gaidi Obadeli, Jaramogi Baby Ajamin, through GO and other organizations to ensure or to advocate for culturally relevant curriculum. So these were the antecedents to try to make sure that the textbooks and the curriculum gave an accurate portrayal or a more accurate portrayal of the history of African people and the culture. But the displacement of African culture was probably a major, not probably, it was for me, the major crime, or it facilitated the success of European world domination, which I give one of the earliest periods to be with the Columbus voyages. Because a lot of times people think about the colonization and all that, but essentially the European was able to impose their culture and their worldview on people in the Western Hemisphere, and this has facilitated the perpetuation of slavery and beyond, or some may call it mental slavery.
Very interesting. So, if without this influence, so to speak, there's a potential that the transatlantic slave trade might not have been coming to fruition, maybe that quick, or maybe not at all. Or is that sort of what you're saying?
You're saying without the Columbus voyage?
Yes,
definitely. I mean, I can't say what would not have happened, but the Columbus voyage, which we know that he didn't discover America because it was already here.
Right.
He was trying to find his way. He was trying to prove that you could go west to get east. And he stumbled upon Hispaniola and decided he was in India, so he thought, but he wasn't. That opened up a whole, what I call the new world order, which George Bush I coined that term. But that was a new world order because it actually flipped Western Europe specifically, from being at a period in decline. Because Dr. John Henry Clark tells us that at that time period, Western Europe was resource poor and land poor. If you look geographically at places like what's now the UK, the land mass is very small, but at one time they dominated a very large portion of the world.
So are you also saying, if I may interpret this correctly, that because of the transatlantic slave trade, that more minerals and resources were mined, so to speak, and resources became more prevalent as they went and excavated the land?
That's what it was all about.
Mm-hmm.
It was about, once they realized—
Diamonds, gold, what have you.
Diamonds, gold, bauxite, coffee, indigo, cotton, tobacco.
Whatever was indigenous to that country, they went after it.
Yes, they did.
And, okay, so what about the youth? What about children recognizing their ancestry going back thousands of years? That this is what I have sort of been led to believe, that if I knew that thousands and thousands of years ago, my ancestors were agriculturists, they were architects, they were— how old is brain surgery and heart surgery? Way older, right?
Yeah, but I can't give you an exact date.
I mean, I'm just saying.
For those, but I would say, if you will, that I think you probably do know. And part of the challenge for us is not knowing, and then even with some of us, like I have students coming to my classroom all the time and say, well, I thought I would take this class because you have to tell me why you took the class. Everybody in the class, in my class is like, why did you choose this class? Well, I want to know more about my history. And I think there's a clear distinction between knowing about your history and being able to operationalize what you know. So I can know about the greatness of my ancestors, but now that I know, what do I do? So I try to spark people to the idea that you have to do something, because to know is not enough. And we live in a world that has perpetuated the idea that anything associated with black and African is negative. So you even have—
taboo, more or less.
Negative, evil, dark, when we get into ideas like devil's food cake versus angel's food cake. This is just symbolism.
White is good, black is everything bad, dirty.
Exactly.
Right, angelic is white.
And these ideas operate like a blueprint or an operating system inside of us, all people. So people of all cultures had this whole negative idea about what it means to be African, and I think that essentially for all people of African descent, our salvation lies in truly knowing who we are and operating from our strength, which is the center of who we are.
And what age? I would assume very, very young babies, children.
I think that it should begin at the point of conception. And what I mean by that is the person that I select to mate with, we should be clear on that so that we can rear our child in a way where the culture is not only being told to them, but they're seeing it in the home. And that's why I said this is an excellent segue, because Helen Moore and others like her who fought for equity in education, our culture is first learned in the family. Our mother is usually the first teacher, and then the family, or whoever it is, family, but whoever the caregivers are. The next logical extension or influence is the school, or at least it was. Now there's research that shows that school does not, as family does not have as much influence as it used to. But part of the idea of African-centered education was, okay, I have values in the home. I want to send my children to a school, and all people do this, even Europeans and other people. They send their children to schools that reflect the values that they have.
Sure. And so many don't have, across the board, whatever race, values are in the toilet today. We across the board in all races, we have lost our way. We are the youth today is the lost generation.
Well, if I may interject, I think a lot of that has to do with the drive of capitalism. So capitalism is fueled by individualism.
And the Illuminati. See, I could have a whole show on this, which people don't know, that there's a whole other plan going on. I believe you agree. Yeah.
I don't know a lot about the Illuminati, but I concern myself with whatever those people are doing. They're doing what they need to do to protect their interests. And my thing is to be about doing what I need to do to protect my interests.
That's all you can do. But I'm convinced that there's a big plan for world domination. And it seems to me, if you take evidence in Detroit, why else would all the schools be closing? With this level of violence that's so inundated in our city, continue to be allowed, so to speak. They can't touch it. Now we're having police stations that are closed from 4 in the afternoon till 8 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
The advent of potentially losing the control of the water rights in the city of Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
emergency management, all these homes. See, this to me seems like one great big idea to shut us down here, but that's a whole other show or a whole other topic. But
I have to admit I agree with you,
Yeah,
and if I just may interject,
Sure.
if you don't mind, I think a lot of times the people that get blamed for the condition in Detroit are actually people that are the victims, because Detroit thrived at the time that it did because the Big Three was thriving. And now, I mean, Detroit was able to be a prominent middle class developed here, predominantly of people that did not have higher education. And now,
blue collars.
And not that they weren't smart, because the migrant people that came here, my great-grandparents came here from the South, they could read maybe at the 5th grade or the 8th grade, but they were committed to their children getting education. But now that option to go to a plant and work and make a decent wage is gone.
Yeah, there was a plan. If you were young and you were a together person and you came from a somewhat decent family with decent values, you would be thinking ahead, years ahead, of what's going to go on with your family, education. You move into an area, you want to make sure there's good schools, you want to make sure there's a hospital around you. We don't have goods and services anymore. Supermarkets are gone. People are relegated. Well, this is still another issue, but okay.
I think it's all related.
It's
though.
all related. Don't I need to know that that years and years, thousands of years ago, my ancestors were great? I mean, what do I have to look for? Societies tell me go to school, get educated, you go so-called get over, but the student loans are in peril. They make it tougher to go to school. If I don't have good grades, I can't go to school. You can't get a job even if you go to school. I mean, what should I think as a kid? Do I have any hope? I mean, where is hope? How about teaching me at a young age I can get through anything, because we were great. We had the potential. You have the potential in you. Realize it, because this is your birthright. We're not taught I'm not African American. We're talking about culture. Where is it?
Well,
other than the conscious ones like yourself and several others in Detroit.
Well, I think that African culture unlike some people, I don't think the culture was wiped out. I think that we had to suppress aspects of our culture. Because the intent was to get us to embrace a culture that wasn't our own. So we've been taught to hate that culture. So when you show people, if you go in a Baptist church and show people that what you're doing here in the name of worshiping God is what Yorubas did 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago in Ile-Ife. They're not using the same language, but they're using music, song, and dance to connect and interact with the divine. But we don't want to hear that. So if I do things like I pour libations oftentimes, which is merely venerating and calling on the names of ancestors, and people say, well, you're doing that voodoo stuff, you have to get away from me. But this is what we did because ancestor veneration was a very important part of our spiritual orientation. And all people, most other people, in the Bible, if you look in the Old Testament, many of the writings, when one of the prophets was speaking of himself, he would say, I'm David ben Solomon ben whoever. And then this is in similar fashion is laying out a list of who his ancestors are.
The greats.
Exactly.
I've been to a couple of them, and I saw you do it. We have a couple calls, and I've been ignoring because of the content, and we're running out of time. But let's take a few calls.
I'm fine with that.
Good evening. You're on the air.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hi. Can you speak clearly? We can barely hear you.
Okay.
How are you?
This is Mother Rose.
Hello,
and
Mother
I've been
Rose.
listening to you all, and I listened to your show a number of times, and I appreciate you bringing on the people that you bring on. Thank God for you bringing on Miss Helen Moore, because you know she's going to tell it like it is. And the gentleman there, I didn't get his name because my TV was kind of acting up. Who's that you're talking to now?
Go ahead.
My name is Kafense Chike, and I'm very aware of, I know you well for many years here at HPR and a couple other radio stations that I've heard you call in.
Yeah,
so
you know, I've been supporting this station for 17 years.
Yes, I'm
Bless your
aware.
heart.
RJ at least.
Bless your heart.
And I love the station. I've been a loyal person to the station. I got awards for supporting the station. I'm having problems now, but God is working with me. I'm still here with you all. And thank you so much, Barry.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
you.
For
I'm
bringing
flattered
on
that
the
you know my
people that
name.
you bring on, because I have been listening to you.
Thank you. It's only the beginning. I'm looking forward to a great year with great guests like this evening, and I'm very proud to have Professor Kafense here this evening.
Thank you so much, and a Happy New Year to
Thank
you both.
you. Thank you very much. A very sweet call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye. That's it. We have a few more minutes. In the conventional education system, if they're not going to a African-centered school, a New Marcus Garvey school, what are some other names? Names escapes me here in town.
Well, you have probably the oldest African-centered school, not probably the oldest, or the first African-centered school in the state is Aisha Shule, which was established in 1972 by Mama Imani Humphrey, who was an educator and realized the need to create an education that spoke to the needs of people of African descent. I think there's a couple of lines flashing.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. Hi, you're on the air, mixing it up. Can we help you?
Good evening, Brother Barry.
Yes, ma'am.
Akila. And
Yes.
Good evening to your guest, too, Professor Kafense Chike.
Good evening. Akila, newly elected to the school board, 6th district, if I'm correct.
Correct.
Proud to
I
have you.
would like to know if he would address the situation with Wayne State University as it relates to the African study curriculum, as it relates to the DPS with the if he would just talk about that situation there and what's happening at Wayne State, and I'll listen I'll hang up and listen to his answer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I appreciate the question. There was a report, and I wish I was a little better prepared, but a report came out about a year or so ago that essentially said that Wayne State graduates about 9.9% of its African-American students that come into the school.
Oh my God.
So they were supposed to have initiated some try to correct that, and there seems to not be enough support for the Africana Studies Department, which has been an integral part of facilitating people in this community matriculating their way through Wayne State University. I myself came to Wayne State in 1989 and completed in 1995, and it was with the help of a good friend, Danny Brown, who was a counselor at the school at the time, but also through various programs like DCE, the Division of Community Education. So, and we're running out of time. Perhaps I maybe could come back at another time and talk a little more about that, but also students right here, local students, sat in and fought to get the Africana Studies Department established in Detroit at Wayne State at 1989, and I think there needs to be a response from the community for the expectation of those efforts that those that established the program, because the Black studies or Africana studies grew out of the need for adequate education for African Americans, culturally relevant education, and education that would best serve the interests of African Americans. And the early African American studies programs actually set about to do that, which that began in 1968. So I hope I've kind of skimmed over the issue, but it's a lot more in depth than what I'm able to say in the amount of time that we have.
I will have you back, and I certainly want to talk more about our issue if you're referring to her issue with this. And I am appalled that 9% are only graduating, and that is startling to me, and that's very upsetting. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming here and taking out your time, your busy schedule. I'm very flattered to have you here.
Again, thank you for having me, and I appreciate the work that you're doing.
Thank you very much. And is there do you want any contact information if they want to get a hold of you, learn more, or?
Well, if people have any questions, I can be reached at 313-595-5526. I'm also affiliated, along with teaching, I'm an adjunct actually at Wayne State, so I teach there part-time. I teach at Aisha Shule in the daytime, but I also have an organization called the African Diaspora Commemoration Institute, and we do an ancestral commemoration celebration once a year to honor and acknowledge the ancestors that were lost during the Middle Passage. There were literally hundreds of thousands of Africans that died during the process of being brought to America and other places in the African diaspora.
Millions, right?
Exactly, and I also have another organization called the Community Research Institute, which is about presenting various educational lectures and other forms to continue to try to raise the consciousness in the African community.
Well, I'm going to talk to you more about where your school is, if you could stick around.
Okay.
So, all right, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to be back with Tawana Honeycomb Petty and her guest tonight, the Poetry Corner. And she has a great guest with her tonight. So we'll be right back, everybody. Thank you. Stay tuned. Well, you were great, man. Tuesdays, 9 p.m. on TV 33. Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. Will feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs. Remember, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Join me, Barry Ross, Mixing It Up on TV 33.
Hi, Mom. Where'd you get all this Narcotics Anonymous stuff from?
Mrs. Owens had Narcotics Anonymous come and talk to our class about meetings that can help people stop using drugs.
Narcotics Anonymous.
Yes, please. Can you help me?
Call Narcotics Anonymous. We can help you.
We are the faces of Detroit. We are the faces of Delray.
We are the faces of Delray. Governor Snyder wants to put us out of our homes by building a bridge in our front yard.
Homes where we raised our families.
A community where we buried our loved one.
Delray is struggling, but it's not lifeless. It's a community of hopes and dreams.
Governor Snyder.
Invest,
not destroy.
1,000 men's suits. And right now at Sermons, you can buy one and get two free. Not one suit, but two free. Buy one suit, bring two friends. Buy one suit. Buy one suit, get two free. Bring your pastor, your boss, your teacher. Buy one suit and get two free. Sermons with 90 years of experience, carrying jeans, exotic skin shoes, sets, shirts, leathers, sweaters, everything for the well-dressed man. Buy one suit, get two free. Sermons on Randolph in downtown Detroit.
The Brinker Group has been serving clients throughout Metro Detroit since 1989. Our group is comprised of 5 commercial contracting firms that specialize in construction management, general contracting, architectural interiors, flooring, glass and aluminum applications, and electrical installation. For exceptional service at competitive rates, choose the Brinker Group. We build with quality, confidence, and pride.
Hey, come on. Man, what is taking so long? Let's play.
Just getting a number.
Whose number?
Narcotics Anonymous.
Hey, if you need to talk.
No way, it's not for me, it's for my brother. He's constantly wasted. Come on, hoop time. Can you tell me about NA?
Call Narcotics Anonymous. We can help you.
You're watching Power Talk on your community TV station, UHF TV 33, Detroit, Highland Park.
Thank you for staying around for Honeycomb's Corner. My 2 guests this evening are going to be the hilarious Michael McDaniel, comedian, actor, you name it. He's an overall artist. And then I have poet, Peace. And you know what, before we even go any further or talk about anything else, I want to get right into it. So welcome to the show, Michael.
Oh, Honeycomb, thanks for having me.
Thank you, Peace. I told you he was funny.
My pleasure.
Okay, so before I start, I do want to give a shout out to In the Loop Poetic Haven. That is a group that is on Facebook. Join that group. It talks about all the different open mic events in the city of Detroit and outside of the city of Detroit. And it's In the Loop Poetic Haven. Okay, before we get started, I'm going to talk to Michael.
Yes.
Michael, he's a comedian, y'all. Y'all have to bear with me.
Oh, my God.
So tell us about some of the things you have going on right now. Do you have any events coming up?
Oh, man, the most exciting thing I have coming up is a show with Lexi on the Word Network.
Okay.
It's called Fresh Fire. So it's for, I guess, gospel artists or, you know, people with positive stuff that they want to put and promote their poetry, music, all that good stuff. That's going to be on Saturdays at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So that's new. That's the most exciting thing I got going on. And I got a YouTube channel.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Which I've been had.
Yeah.
And everybody has a YouTube channel. That's like nothing big. But that's, you know, it's doing really good. I got over 2 million hits on my YouTube.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, my new DVD is doing good. Out of My Mind.
I've seen that. It's hilarious.
Really?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
You saw it too?
Yes,
Yes.
I have.
Where'd you see it at?
On YouTube.
On
I
YouTube?
saw bits and clips
Bits
of
and
it.
clips. Okay, that's great. Yeah, you can also buy that at IamMcDaniel.com/store.
So you're an impressionist, a comedian, an actor, a model. You have to don't even. He tries to pretend he's not a model, but he has like all model photography on Facebook.
Yes.
So I want you to do an impression for me. One of my favorites. Well, actually, I'm gonna let you do what you would like to do, but he is an awesome impressionist. He can impersonate pretty much anybody. So I would like for him to do that firsthand for you all. Can you give us some examples of some of the stuff you do?
I guess I can get like one out the way that I know y'all probably dying for me to do.
Yes.
Like on the inside.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Denzel.
Oh, see, this is.
Yes, please, Denzel.
They always
Denzel
want.
Washington.
They always want Denzel. It's got to be Denzel Hurricane because I don't have no hair.
Oh,
so,
wow.
that's the only one I could do.
Let's go.
All right, Honeycomb on the Poetry Corner. What we call this? What's it called? What's this here?
Honeycomb's Corner.
Honeycomb's Corner, huh? You live on the corner. You don't have a house, huh? You don't have a place to stay. Peace. You got peace of mind.
Absolutely.
You peaceful or you chaotic? What are you? Huh? Huh?
Peace.
Peace. Are you sure that you're peace? Huh? Now, how far y'all want me to go with this?
I want you to do one more.
Did you see the visual?
He is hilarious. He is hilarious. You make sure you book him for your events too. I'm gonna have him give his contact number after this, but I would like for him to do one more person.
Y'all pick the person. Y'all come on. Who y'all got?
Dave Chappelle.
Mike Epps.
Dave Chappelle and Mike Epps.
Okay.
All right. They arguing because they're not on the show and I'm on the show.
Ooh, okay.
How about that?
Listen to this audience.
This is about to be retarded because we're about to make it up right now. That's why it's going to be not retarded. I'm sorry. It's going to be developmentally challenged. All right. Because it's development. Hey, Honeycomb, why is it that you always get Michael McDaniel on the show? Huh?
I'm sorry.
You don't know nobody more famous than him? I walked away from $50 million. Mike Epps, how you feel about this, man? Man, I don't even care. I'm glad he's getting his little TV time and everything. I got specials and movies and everything. I'm getting it in, man. We making good money out here. Sitting next to Peace and everything. What's going on with you, Peace?
I'm loving this.
I got the peace in the storm. I said the peace in the storm. And I'm sweeter than a honeycomb.
All right, y'all. I know y'all in the audience clapping for him right now.
Go clap. Get your clap on, you know.
Nice.
Michael, can you tell people how they can book you for their events? I'm pretty sure it's a ton of people out there that would like to book you for their events.
Oh, wow. You can book me by call 248-242-0852. And then I'll give you the actual number that you're supposed to call.
Okay. Peace. I hope you can pull it together.
Peace, Honeycomb.
Peace. I'm sorry I brought you on next to Michael. I know he's pretty hilarious. It's
I
hard
know
to.
we was gonna have a good time today.
Yeah.
I'm good.
It's all fun in the studio.
I'm good.
You are one of the most dynamic, amazing poets that I have ever encountered, and I've met women from all across the globe, internationally. I have much respect for you, so I'm very happy that you are here today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So anyway, this is one of the poets that I really, really, really like. So I want you to really tune into her. I'm gonna have her do a piece for you all. You okay with that?
Okay, just as long as I don't look at Mike, I'm good.
I'll turn away.
I'm good.
All right, do your thing.
Okay. This piece is called Picture This.
Okay.
What do? I paint. I paint pictures. I paint pictures with words. I paint pictures with words. In other words, I lay out, adorn, depict vivid representation of objects on scenes of color on surface by means of pigments, usually with a brush. In my case, I use my tongue, stroked against soft palate, lips and larynx valid to articulate my pictures, paint pictures with words. In the beginning was the word, and the word is an expressed thought. Thought is the power to conceive or realize the state of being aware, careful and serious. I am so serious. Do not look at me like that. Careful, I'm not crazy. I paint pictures with words. In the beginning, the word was with God and made flesh. So here I am. What? Do you not believe in my pictures? Do you not believe that I can stroke bold, colorful mixtures of peace of mind on your moon as if my paintings were scripture? Reflect the inspirational energy and light rays from the core of my sun. Cause tsunamis within your brain cells, send earthquakes up your spine. Make rain and snow cause hell in your parched pupils. Make your physical nervous system and reflexes go mental. Are you afraid to know a God in your life? Well, do you know where you could take my pictures or leave it? You can excrete it or breathe it. You can chew on it or feed it to the hungry if lacking inspiration. Apply generously when needed. Open it up, dissect it, and bleed it. Rock it over a beat or accompany it by Webster's Dictionary, Thesaurus, Medical, Metaphysical, Anatomy, Text, Bible, Quran. Help break a professor and read it. Now back to my thoughts. About thoughts. Thoughts are really liquid and they travel on the moisture in the air. So drink this, but not too fast because I'm still painting. And I don't want nasty spills on your conscious or subconscious. Because whether mentally dead or alive, I will paint beautiful on your canvas today. One word at a time, one stanza, one line with repetition. You think I'm crazy because I repeat what I say? I repeat what I say because I don't have freaking time. questions. Gotta get this lesson in less than 3 minutes and 10 seconds. In my case, maybe 3 minutes and 30 seconds, but I'm working on that, Tawana, for slam purposes. Did you not hear me say that I paint all the time? So when God has time to perfect her skill, not think still and look quiet. Perfect. Every 24 billion miles per second, I'm practicing painting beautiful like pictures that I made possible with positive thought. That is, everything begins with a thought. Your still life reality is a product of your thought. If you're not happy with your landscape, to change the colors of your thoughts. Stop painting your human form in hell. Stop thinking your wrong thinking is someone else's fault. Get your mindset out that box before I paint it. Paint a picture with words at the beginning of every 300 milliseconds. The word is moving, the word is real, the word is now, the word is present. So what are you meaning? What are you thinking? What are you saying? What are you doing with your paint today? God's.
What did I tell you, audience? What did I tell you? I know you're in the audience clapping because we in here clapping. Peace.
That's dope.
Yes.
You are amazing.
Thank you.
You are amazing.
Thank you.
I don't want to talk because I feel like I'm spilling words now. There's nothing that you could do with the stuff that's going to come out my mouth. What am I painting? A mess.
Wow.
Like a kindergarten. It's like a kindergarten first painting. What is that, Mama? That's a horse and a house. At the same. That's what I feel like.
Wow.
But I bow down right now.
Thank you
Yeah,
all.
you
Thank
are.
you.
You have CDs for purchase. You have a feature coming. She has a feature coming up at the Urban Network this Saturday at 6 p.m. That's at 5740 Grand River at McGraw, Detroit 48208. Make sure you come out to see her. This woman is phenomenal. She is phenomenal. And if you perform on the open mic, it's free. If you don't perform on the open mic, it's $3. That's it. So you get to see Peace for like free or $3. Like, I don't even know what to tell you about that, a full set. So tell people how to reach you so they can purchase your product.
You all can reach me Facebook, Claretha Peace Robinson, and or you can reach me via my email, peace4you2see@aol.com. My CDs right now are only $5.
Only $5.
Only $5.
That's insane.
Almost free.
Yes, that's
almost
nearly
free.
Much free.
This is Late Bloomer, and I'm really happy about this project, and I'm really excited. And so those are the two ways that you all can reach out to me. I also have a site on Our Stage /Peace the Poetess, and you can reach me there, and as well hear some of my material on that site as well.
Okay.
Yes.
And give your email address one more time.
My email address again is peace4, the number 4, the letter U, the number T, the number 2, the letter C, at AOL.com. That's peace4you2see@AOL.com.
And you can reach her at Peace Be Still, but still move a little bit, at gmail.com. And the G is not for Google, it's for God's mail.
That's right.
Amen.
That's right.
Amen. Amen.
Speaking of that, Michael, since we are back on you,
yes.
I would like to get another impression out of you. Is that okay?
Sure.
Yes.
You all listened to the minister on this program. You're probably still tuned in from earlier. So I'm not gonna have him do the minister tonight, even though that's a challenge, minister. I know you're watching, so we're gonna have Michael learn you and then come back and do you. Okay? He's gonna call in and kill us.
Oh no.
Yeah. So you do like Ty Tribbett, you do John Legend, you do
Donnie
entertainers, Donnie McClurkin.
Yes.
Pick any one of them.
Let's go with let's do Donnie McClurkin, even though my throat's not clear.
Uh-oh.
So if this fails, they picked it. All right. So what we gonna have Donnie McClurkin do? Y'all gotta help me.
Donnie
He's just
McClurkin's
hanging
gonna
out.
ask Peace some questions.
Oh wow.
What do you think about that?
My Lord, Sister Peace. It seems that your poetry comes from a place that's really deep and earthen in spirituality. Would you agree with me?
Absolutely.
Would you agree with me?
Absolutely.
If you don't agree, now I know you're watching. I know you heard that. minutes and 10 seconds, and it was smooth. My Savior. You just don't see that every day. Some people fail, and they fail to get back up. To that I say, do you have a piece to coincide with this?
Absolutely.
We fall down, but we get up. We. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all?
I'm sorry, y'all.
Make me do that.
Please let him finish.
I'm sorry. Please finish. Please finish. Please
finish the song.
I can't. My
I was
throat-
getting
my
the
throat's
spirit.
Gonna quit. If this fails, it's because they chose it. But we get up, we fall down. Yes, my brother. But we. For a saint is just a sinner who fell down. But he didn't stay there and got up. Sing it now.
Not at all. Okay.
1 minute. One minute.
You
Hold
all.
on, says 1 minute.
The purpose of Honeycomb's Corner, as you can see, is to bring some of the most dynamic, the most powerful, entertaining Detroit artists to the forefront. I mean, Detroit is full of amazing talent, and when I was given this opportunity, I wanted to make sure that I passed the torch to the people that I looked up to. Michael was the first person to put me on a stage as a performer. So I am always grateful to him for that. He was the first person to book me for an event. And Peace, I look up to. She is an absolute role model as a mother, an activist, a poet. So I wanted to bring those two on today for that purpose. And I want you to book them. I want you to book them whenever you have an event. Call on the two of them. I mean, together, individually they're dynamic. Together they are dynamic. So that is the purpose for bringing them two on tonight. And I want to thank you all so much. And please make sure you stick around for the remainder of Mixing It Up with Barry. Thank you for tuning in to Honeycomb's Corner.
30 seconds. Woohoo!
And right now at Sermons, you can buy one and get two free. Not one suit, but two free. Buy one suit, bring two friends. Buy one suit, bring two relatives. Buy one suit, get two free. Bring your pastor, your boss, your teacher. Buy one suit and get two free. Sermons with 90 years of experience, carrying jeans, exotic skin shoes, sets, shirts, leathers, sweaters, everything for the well-dressed man. Buy one suit, get two free. Sermons on Randolph in downtown Detroit.
That's it. Welcome back to Mixing It Up, everyone. I just want to thank all my guests tonight. Queen Mother Helen Moore was beyond a great experience, and I am proud to have had her here tonight. Kefense Shake, Professor Wayne in African Studies, and Tawana, your guests were phenomenal. As usual, thank you, everybody, for coming on the show. And I want to remind everyone once more, we have a fund set up for the little girl that died unnecessarily in a fire a month and a half ago. This is for the Ivory, write this down, Ivory Ivy Emergency Children's Fund at Comerica Bank. Any child that dies in the city of Detroit as a result of a fire and whose family can't afford to bury her, we have this fund. Ivory Ivy Emergency Children's Fund at Comerica Bank. Please get involved. Go to any Comerica Bank, deposit $5 on up. We challenge you to get involved in this. We need to all work together. And I want to remind you one more time that this Sunday at 3 o'clock at Adams and Woodward, Pastor Ovella's United Communities of America Thou Shall Not Kill campaign, 15 hearse funeral homes donating hearse that are going to travel in a caravan across town to Wendell Anthony's Fellowship Hall, where a major rally is going to take place with all these great community organizations. 3 o'clock Sunday, downtown at Woodward and Adams. Show up, and Swanson Funeral Home is donating a 1945 antique hearse to lead this procession. We're driving down going down Claremont to various routes until we end up at Fellowship Chapel on Outer Drive between Greenfield and Southfield. The police are going to be there. City officials are going to be there. Wendell Anthony hopefully going to be there. All the different community organizations are going to be there. Great speakers. And tomorrow at 3 o'clock, there's going to be a press conference at Fellowship Chapel for this event. So we encourage you to get involved in your communities. We encourage you, if you see something in your neighborhood, get involved. We must work together. Yesterday, thousands of people showed up in Ann Arbor to prevent the emergency manager. We need to come together, everybody. I'm the founder of Detroit Coalition Against Violence. We work with It Takes a Village, y'all, New Marcus Garvey Movement, United Communities of America, any organization that is willing to stand up in the communities of Detroit. We need to police our own neighborhoods. We need you to come out of your home, watch your street, form a block club, and get involved. And once again, I thank you for watching this show. Me, a newcomer into this movement in Detroit, I am proud to be on board, and I'm proud to be with the people that support Detroit. And there's a lot of great stand-up people in this city that are making a difference. And we encourage you to join an organization. We encourage you to vote. November of this year, we want to see Obama back in office. There's a great movement in our city to re-elect Obama, and it's called the Detroit Circle 2012. They're having intimate meetings in people's homes to apprise everybody about what kind of issues are going to be on the ballot and how important it is to get this president back. God forbid we get a Republican president in there. I might blow my brains out. We already have a dictator in our governorship. It is unconstitutional to decree an emergency manager. It's a violation of the Constitution. Who would want one person deciding behind closed doors what's good for Detroit? No jobs for Detroit. Contracts go to his people. We don't want to see this happen. And in the 11th hour, Dave Bing has come forth, and he's supporting a no emergency manager. He does not want to be a part of it. We all need to join together, get involved, get these petitions signed. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the show. Thank you for watching the show. You can go to Mixing It Up on Facebook, Mixing Up with Barry Ross on Facebook. Go to my on-demand feature, and you can see shows. So, again, everybody, have a safe week. Get involved in your community, and I love you. I might not like y'all, but I love y'all. So that's coming from the real, because I'm real, and I try to be. So thank you very much for tuning in. And we want everybody to know that without your involvement in the communities, our communities can't continue to thrive. You know, there's areas in Detroit that have 75% unemployment. We used to be an industrial town. Now we're an industrial town with no industry. We all need to get together and create a better place to live. We need to bring in corporations into the city of Detroit and invest in our neighborhoods. You know, downtown is coming back, but the neighborhoods aren't coming back. We need to see supermarkets in our neighborhoods. We need to see better treatment, better food. We need you to get involved in your school district. We need you to pay attention to what's going on civically within your communities. You need to watch the news, read the newspapers, and get involved. And I also am one of the co-owners of Sermons Closed Downtown, been in business for 95 years. Anybody that's watching this show that comes into my store will get an additional 20% off on anything they buy if you mention this show, on top of our buy one, get two free on suits. All men's suits, all the time at Sermons. Buy one suit, get two free. I will beat anybody's price on the same merchandise that I carry anywhere. Shop around, make us their last store, and I guarantee that I will beat it. And I ain't playing. You know why? Because I'm staying. This store's been in business for 95 years. We ain't been in business for 95 years because we treated people wrong. I don't believe everybody that comes into our store is anything but a loyal customer because we treat them fairly. And we want everybody to get a fair shake in this time. across the board. So come into sermons. Check me out. I'm there every day except for Wednesday, and I'll be happy to show you around. And we expect you to do more than just taking a tour of the store. Buy a little something. Keep your money in Detroit. If you don't want to buy at Sermons, go to J.L. Stone's across the street. The Broadway is across the street from Sermons Close. City Slicker. We're happening downtown. You need to come down and check us out. They got new restaurants down there, new clubs, and be a part of the city. We need you to spend your money in the city, not at the casino. We need tax dollars in the city so we don't get an emergency manager. We need your money. You need to spend it in Detroit. The casinos are getting $1 billion a year of your money. Don't listen. They don't build $1 billion building because they don't think it's going to come back to them. So stay out of the casinos. Come in and spend it in the retail stores downtown. And we appreciate you watching our show. Get involved. Don't forget, Pastor of Elders United Communities of America, 3 o'clock Sunday, Woodward and Adams, for the caravan, the procession of hearse, 15 funeral homes. We'll see you next week, everybody. Stay tuned. I'll continue to offer you good shows. So peace out. We love you. Take it easy. We'll see you next week. Thank you for watching. You can watch these shows on Mixing It Up Tuesdays, 9 p.m. on TV 33. Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs. Remember, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Join me, Barry Ross, Mixing It Up on TV 33.
You're watching UHF TV 33, Detroit Highland Park.
L.J. Reynolds invites you to his house for a concert and birthday celebration January 27th and 28th at the Birch Theater and Warehouse. A little bit of old school. Step in.
Girl, you've been gone. You really blew my mind, baby.
Pop the cork and toast our own entertainment legend. You are personally invited on a memorable musical tour. 2 big nights, January 27th and 28th. General admission, $45. Remember, L.J. Reynolds invites you to his house, which is Birch Theater and Warehouse. Pick up your ticket invite at TV33 160 Victor in Highland Park. For more ticket information, call 313-86.
Across the board. So come into sermons. Check me out. I'm there every day except for Wednesday, and I'll be happy to show you around. And we expect you to do more than just taking a tour of the store. Buy a little something. Keep your money in Detroit. If you don't want to buy at Sermons, go to J.L. Stone's across the street. The Broadway is across the street from Sermons Close. City Slicker. We're happening downtown. You need to come down and check us out. They got new restaurants down there, new clubs, and be a part of the city. We need you to spend your money in the city, not at the casino. We need tax dollars in the city so we don't get an emergency manager. We need your money. You need to spend it in Detroit. The casinos are getting $1 billion a year of your money. Don't listen. They don't build $1 billion building because they don't think it's going to come back to them. So stay out of the casinos. Come in and spend it in the retail stores downtown. And we appreciate you watching our show. Get involved. Don't forget, Pastor of Elders United Communities of America, 3 o'clock Sunday, Woodward and Adams, for the caravan, the procession of hearse, 15 funeral homes. We'll see you next week, everybody. Stay tuned. I'll continue to offer you good shows. So peace out. We love you. Take it easy. We'll see you next week. Thank you for watching. You can watch these shows on Mixing It Up Tuesdays, 9 p.m. on TV 33. Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs. Remember, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Join me, Barry Ross, Mixing It Up on TV 33.
You're watching UHF TV 33, Detroit Highland Park.
L.J. Reynolds invites you to his house for a concert and birthday celebration January 27th and 28th at the Birch Theater and Warehouse. A little bit of old school. Step in.
Girl, you've been gone. You really blew my mind, baby.
Pop the cork and toast our own entertainment legend. You are personally invited on a memorable musical tour. 2 big nights, January 27th and 28th. General admission, $45. Remember, L.J. Reynolds invites you to his house, which is Birch Theater and Warehouse. Pick up your ticket invite at TV33 160 Victor in Highland Park. For more ticket information, call 313-86.